Okay, it's 7 p.m. I go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And welcome to Toastmasters District 57 MasterClass. I hope you will enjoy tonight's MasterClass with Craig Harrison, who is going to give us an interactive presentation on achieving your bucket list goals with Toastmasters. And we leave the meeting feeling empowered, especially during this difficult time we are all going through. My name is Zora Kodobandalu, and I am here from Laugh Lovers Toastmasters in Concord. And I am also your host this evening. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to get started with Craig in just a few moments. But first, I wanted to go over just a few logistics. This masterclass is being recorded, and the recording link will be available on District 57 webpage. I will share the link with you a little bit later. This evening, Craig is going to do an interactive presentation and question and answer. Please put all your questions into the chat box, and I will ask those questions at selected time during presentations when he pauses for questions and answers. Throughout the program, all participants will be muted to minimize distractions. However, there will be key times participants will be unmuted for discussion. Please be mindful of your microphone and mute yourself whenever you see it is unmuted and making noises. And finally, for your information, tonight's masterclass is a modified version of one of the workshops was supposed to be presented at district conference this year. Now I'm going to stop sharing my screen and ask Craig if you can share your slide while I'm going to introduce you.
Please go ahead and introduce me, and then I'll go ahead and do that afterwards. It's fine.
Sure.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Craig Harrison is a distinguished Toastmaster, past District 57 governor, and founder of numerous clubs, including Speakers Forum, Laugh Lovers, Heart to Heart, and East Bay Toastmasters. You've likely read many of his 90 past published articles in Toastmaster magazine since 1994. Toastmasters turned his fear into fun. Then they helped him go from free to fee. Craig used communication and leadership skills honed in Toastmaster to form his own sales and service training firm, Expressions of Excellence, lead the National Speakers Association, Northern California chapter with distinction as its president, and founder of its ProTrack Speakers Academy. Make major contributions to the Storytelling Association of California and its annual Bay Area Storytelling Festival. Published the Good, Better, Best series of books just for Toastmasters. Craig has trained thousands, coached hundreds, and mentored dozens to success in Toastmasters, the National Speakers Association, and through Expressions of Excellence. COVID-19 and the killing of George Floyd have reminded us all that life is short and the world needs us to get into action to pursue our passion, give voice to our dreams, and apply our communication and leadership skills to better shape our world. Here to help us achieve our bucket list goals through Toastmasters, please welcome our dream catcher for the hour, Craig Harrison.
Oh, thank you, Zora. An applause for Zora. Yay. Thank you so much for being on this call. If you have not received the materials yet, please put your email in the chat window, and Zora will make sure that you get the article on how to achieve your bucket list goals. That was the cover story in Toastmaster magazine some years ago. And also a handout that has worksheets that you'll be using tonight and beyond tonight. Boy, I got that glare coming right on cue. How about that? All right, let's see if this little blue screen will help. Yeah. Love it. Okay. And let's see, in addition to the handout, there will be an evaluation that I'll send by a PDF file that you can fill in and email back. So I want to thank you in advance for giving us feedback that'll help us. Regardless of how new you are in Toastmasters, my sense is that if you were like me, you joined to conquer a fear, to get over a fear such as, how to give a speech or how to speak extemporaneously or how to conduct a meeting. But the wonderful thing about Toastmasters, and we find this out along the way, is that really Toastmasters is also a magical place where dreams can come true. And that's really what I want to talk about tonight. I've been in Toastmasters 28 years, and my mother she's the one who told me, join Toastmasters, you need it. And the joke is that I'd have joined sooner, but if you have a Jewish mother pushing you, you push back. But the truth is, now that I've been in it and I conquered my fear and I found my voice and I found my humor and I was able to achieve ribbons and plaques and pins and letters after my name, I kept finding new challenges, and every milestone became a stepping stone for me. And I realized with each achievement that the milestone gave me a new vantage point from which I could see new opportunities and other places I wanted to go. And so I kept changing my goals and kept challenging myself, and others challenged me as well. And so I've stayed in it, even as I've transcended Toastmasters in some respects to join National Speakers Association, to become a leader in the what's now ATD, the Association for Talent Development, American Society for Training and Development back in the day. And when you develop communication and leadership skills in Toastmasters, you can go anywhere and you have leadership skills that are in demand. And people want you on their boards and committees and teams and projects. And so I joined NSA, but I stayed in Toastmasters. I became a district governor. I started to form clubs. I visited clubs around the world. I got a wonderful hero's welcome in all these different countries on different continents. Some of them had read my articles. But the point being that for all of you in Toastmasters, yes, you have an immediate need that led you to join. And whether you've accomplished it or not, just know that, to quote the Helen Blanchard, a past international president, if you get out of Toastmasters everything there is to get out of Toastmasters, you'll never get out of Toastmasters. However, tonight my challenge to you is that as much fun as it is to have 6 distinguished Toastmasters after your name or have 12 ribbons from being best table topics in your club, there's a bigger game to be played. And I just want to suggest that for all of us on this call, life is short. Who knew about this pandemic? For many of us, our lifespans, if we live to fruition, aren't even the same, depending on where we grew up and how we've lived and the environments we live in. But the important thing to really realize is that we have bucket list goals, and if not now, when are we going to pursue them? And my suggestion is, if you're on this call, is it's time. It's time to go public with your bucket list goal. It's time to put it in writing and put it out here on this call, and let's get you into action. And I'll show you ways of using not just clubs, but curricula and different pathways and opportunities in the club and in the district and in our communities and in the greater community that we can access now through social media to accelerate the achievement of your bucket list goals. So that's our plan for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now and show you the handout that all of you should have access to. And it's not a slide deck tonight. It's a PDF file. Now I have sent you the article. Let's see. Now, are you? No, that's just one moment here. Got multiple screens, and can you see the cover page, Achieving Your Toastmasters Bucket List?
Roger.
All right, awesome. This is essentially the handout. The concept is that in life, we all should have a list of things that we put in our bucket, but that we want to achieve before we kick the bucket, before we pass away. It's kind of our dream file. But as the wonderful Sam Horn said in a session I attended last summer at an NSA convention, someday is not a day of the week. So we all have these things about someday I'll do this, someday I'll pursue that, someday I'll quit my job, or I'll start that nonprofit, I'll create that TED Talk, I'll write that book, I'll pursue the World Championship of Public Speaking or something like that. But the truth is, if we don't get into action sooner than later, it may never happen. And that's what this session is really about. So there is a movie called The Bucket List with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman, wonderful movie. But Toastmasters really can be a means to an end. And so at this time, I'd like you to start thinking, where do you want to go in life? And what do you want to do still in life? And what do you want to become in life? And whatever it is, I'm here to tell you that Toastmasters will support you in that. So for some people, it's winning the World Championship of Public Speaking. That's your goal. In a moment, I'll show you a mind map about how one might pursue that. For others, it's delivering a TED Talk. For people who have wanderlust, like Ashley Harkness, it could be speaking to clubs in all 50 states or on every continent. For some people, it could be starting a club for your favorite NGO, your non-governmental organization, or your favorite nonprofit or spiritual organization, or for the organization you work for. For some of you, you may want to own your own TV show, or host your own TV show, excuse me, or get an article published in a nationwide or worldwide magazine like the New Yorker or O Magazine or Real Simple Magazine. You list it. Some of you may want to run for office, give a speech to the United Nations. Some may aspire to follow in the footsteps of Michael Notaro from our own Division D, here in the East Bay, and become president of the international, Toastmasters International. So let's open up the microphone, Zora, and let's hear some people identify what their bucket list is. If you'd rather put it in the chat window, that's fine. And if you have the handout, go ahead and write it down for yourself. But what's one thing that you'd like to share tonight that's on your bucket list? Operators are standing by.
Hi, Craig. This is Sherry Jensen.
Hey, Sherry.
How are you?
Thanks for being on the call. The floor is yours.
Yeah, great. Well, I did pre-read a little bit of your information. I can't see myself anymore. I don't even know if I have to see myself to get.
Well,
anyway, you guys see me as long as that's. But I did make a little bucket list. You had mentioned that there was a personal goals and professional goals. I want to stop fidgeting when I'm speaking, which I still do, and it's mitigated itself a little bit, but by videotaping myself, actually, it helps. I also want to stop ad-libbing so much, which I do actually very well, but in a speech, it doesn't look very controlled. And I want to be DTM, like I think most of us, right? We all want to be a DTM maybe someday. But I am starting my own nonprofit. It's a veterans nonprofit here in the Bay Area. It's actually up at Las Positas College, and it's in the very beginning budding stage, but I'm actually giving another.
That's a great one. I'm going to stop you right there. That's the one I'd like you to use for tonight.
Okay, let's do it.
And I've written this down, and ideas are already percolating. And I want you to know that Toastmasters is full of veterans of all different branches. And you may not have known this, but we used to have clubs on the USS Enterprise that was home-based, home-ported in Alameda. In fact, I think Steve and I might have been in one of the clubs that came off that carrier, Oakland 88. I'm not sure the roots of that. But so we can put you in touch with veterans and veterans groups. And okay, thank you. That's a great one. Let's see. I'm looking at the Zoom chat. I don't see very much. I guess you folks are speakers, not writers. Anyone else like to verbally share with us out loud a bucket list goal, something big?
Yeah, this is Albert.
Hey, Albert, great to see you.
Hi.
You made your bed.
Good
Awesome.
to see you. I want to be the world champion of public speaking.
Okay, well, you're in luck. I have a prefab.
But you have a roadmap for me?
I do. I actually have a mind map that I used previously.
Okay.
So, there are other people who've actually had access to it before you, but congratulations, you just won a contest, I know. And
yeah, I still have 2 levels to go. So
yeah, well, that's great. All right, so I've got you covered. Thanks for sharing.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else like to put into print in our chat window or just share out loud Let's see, I've got more people than I can see on my Zoom screen. I should try to rotate my Zoom screen, but who else has anything they'd like to share? All right.
I can
Yeah,
share something,
yes, please.
but I don't know how to get on. I mean, I'm unmuted, but I don't know where the video is.
I can see you. We can
You
see
can?
you. It's a lovely lamp you have.
I can't see myself.
Okay, nothing there.
Oh, there we go. Hi. So about 30 years ago, I happened to be in France,
Mhm.
and I met someone who had traveled to France from the United States and had given presentations there.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to do that sometime.
Well,
What I would
fantastic.
like is to tell my stories.
Yeah.
I have some personal stories, and I would like to tell them in a lot of different places.
Do you know that if circumstances had played out differently, next month you could be in Paris at the International Toastmasters International Convention?
Yes, I know that well.
Yes, I know. But I suspect when things get better, hopefully they'll reschedule that. What an amazing venue, the City of Lights, for that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want you all to realize when you're in Toastmasters, you literally are in a family of clubs around the world that are linked, that have a shared vision and shared values. And Ashley will confirm, and maybe others on this call, I've spoken to clubs in Ethiopia and in India and in Australia and
Japan.
Japan. That's right. Both of us have spoken, I think, at the same clubs in Japan, at least the Tokyo Toastmasters. Yeah.
Yeah.
The truth is that we get treated like returning astronauts or conquering heroes. We're the exotic ones when we come to another country. We let them know in advance that we're coming, and it's so culturally broadening to be able to see how they do things there. And for many folks, it's a second language for them. So you don't have to wait until you're going to another country. If you know you're going, and with all the meetings being virtual now, you can reach out to them. We have clubs in the South Bay in District 101 that are on improv and storytelling, and they're now attracting members from around the country and beyond. So if you're trying to boost your club's membership, why not use social media and put it out there? And especially if you have a specialty club, great things can happen when you promote it. And it's a beautiful thing. It adds such texture to our clubs when we invite people from other countries to join our meetings. They just have to navigate the time change. Okay, so great, that's a good one for you. Let's do this. I'm gonna press on right now in the interest of time, but thank you for those of you who shared. And I'm just gonna share in the chat window that, yeah, a couple of you have been in Japan already, and a Toastmaster, Steve is pursuing the accredited speaker program. Cheryl Roush, a past district governor from District 5, is a big champion of the accredited speaker program. And I would encourage you to make contact with her after this call. Let her know. In fact, she promoted this through her network, but she can give you a lot of pointers, and I will too, about how to pursue your accredited speaker certification. Very few people in Toastmasters go that route, but that's a wonderful seal of approval for professionalism. Okay, super. So I think it is important to have goals, whether they're just the run-of-the-mill goals like getting to the next level in Toastmasters, but I encourage you to think bigger. I really do, because these skills are transferable, and they're also transportable. Your communication and leadership skills can go with you and actually lead the way for you. So, all right, that sort of moves us forward. What I'm going to do now for the visual people and just in general is skip ahead in my own handout. Okay. Alrighty, and just in a moment we'll come back to pages 3 and 4, but at this time I'm going to rotate this slide here. Let's see, this is slide number 5, and let me just rotate it, and that I can do here. And I created a mind map a little while ago. Let's see, and I think this is the right way. No, silly me. Okay. Boink, boink, boink. Okay. How about we do 180? I think 90 and 180 makes 270. Hey, we're back in business. Okay. So now let me close this. What I did was, I don't know if any of you have made mind maps before, but let me just, all right. How do I want to delete that? Want to go full screen. There we go, alas. Okay, I'm gonna make it bigger. Just one moment, folks. What I've done on, I believe that is slide 5, is I've created a mind map. What we do is we put the goal or the proposition in the center of our blank page, and then we draw spokes out from it. So in the case of a situation where we want to go ahead and win the World Championship of Public Speaking, which for those of you who don't know is the highest level that one can achieve in Toastmasters in the contest. Basically, what we want to do now is look at all the different ways in which we can pursue this. Okay, can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can. But
Fantastic.
as
All right,
you see, the page thumbnails are covering up a lot of space there.
Okay, I will close out the thumbnails because I don't need that. But for the moment, it's over. This page should be overriding it. Okay, great. When I get back, I'll close that. So basically, if you want to win the World Championship of Public Speaking, obviously you want to study people who've won it before. You can buy the recordings from the contests and study them. You can, of course, register for the contests in your club, your area, your division, the district, and you can become a student of other people who compete perennially and who do well. So you can also join some of our advanced clubs. You will notice that even though the World Championship of Public Speaking is all about inspiration and motivation, the truth is that those speakers are funny and use humor. So I suggest joining a humor club like Laugh Lovers. By the way, I have it on good authority that Tyree Johnson is looking at starting a similar sort of comedy-focused specialty club in San Francisco. I'll be working with him on that. So there can be a San Francisco version of You Can Too Be Funny, the Can Too Comedy Club. But yeah, humor is a big part of it. But you've got to look the part. When you watch the World Championship of Public Speaking, you notice that the women and men are dressed elegantly and they move with such flow and grace. For some of us, that's not our natural way. So investing in working with a haberdasher or an image consultant and looking the part of a world champion, even before you sound that way, is part of it, because you've got to sound great, you've got to look great. I encourage people to take a dance class or two to get comfortable with your body. For some people, yoga can help. I think that storytelling is so important. If you deconstruct great keynote speeches and world champion speeches, you'll see that at the core are amazing stories. And so improving your storytelling is a big part of this, being able to tell a 2-minute story or a 1-minute story. In fact, I've written an article about this, which I can send to you. I'll make a note, called Become a 2-Minute Teller, about using table topics to tell 2-minute stories. There are advanced clubs like Speakers Forum that videotape you, or I guess Prep Squad would be a great one to get you ready. We have clubs that focus just on getting people ready for contests. And for some of you, maybe working with a voice coach can make a difference. They can help your voice. Executive presence isn't just done with the body, it's with your voice. And sounding confident and credible is a big part of it. Some of you may seek out a mentor. A lot of the world champions are no longer, none of them are eligible to compete anymore, but many of them have boot camps and have subscriber lists and blogs and different events. And Gary McKinsey is very active with those past world champs and can tell you all about that. He's on our call today. So definitely, we say in life that success leaves footprints. It leaves a trail. And sometimes they're breadcrumbs, but the truth is, if you study any successful person, you can deconstruct how they got there. Oh, you're saying this is not full screen right now. All right, one moment. Let me kill the window and I'll put it back up. But I think what you're seeing is that, all right, and that should be full screen. And I'm going to try one more time.
That looks perfect right there. That looks perfect.
Just leave it here. Okay, I can just leave it here. Should I make this a little bigger?
That's good. That's good.
All right, we'll just leave it like that. Great. So anyway, you can do the same process with your bucket list goal. You write it in the center and we'll draw some spokes out to different things that you might do. But you know, you might even become a student of speech writing. And my goodness, there are so many people out there who are expert at speech writers, and Toastmasters has speech writers in them. I think that Pete Weissman is a former White House speechwriter, and he's contributed articles to Toastmaster magazine. He's out of Atlanta, Pete Weissman. And let's see, I know we have some speechwriters in District 4 from years ago that were in Pro Toasties with me. I can't remember the name of one of the gentlemen, but anyway, I can follow up with you on this. So the idea is who's going to be on your team, and how are you going to really attack this seriously and compete against better competition. You know, Alfred Harris and some of the perennials that were in our speech contests year after year, they joined multiple clubs to get a lot of stage time. People like Darren LaCroix always talk about stage time, stage time, stage time. Learn how to use a microphone. Some of the advanced clubs will give you experience with that. So, all right, at this time, I want to just advance the slide, you know, one page here, and say that in your handout, I've given you essentially a blank slate. It's got a Toastmasters logo behind it. But the idea is if you write your bucket list goal in this oval, then either with clubmates or your closest friends or your family members, or maybe with a glass of wine, you want to do a brainstorm. You want to do a mind map and figure out all the different things that you might do to help you pursue your goal. And you want to look at things like roles in the club that can give you leadership experience or other sorts of experience. Roles in the district. The district has probably 100 roles each year. And it's a great way to learn on somebody else's dime and to practice and develop new skills and network in Toastmasters. You know, volunteer with the district and take on a role that can help you pursue your bucket list dream. So let's see. It was Sherry who wanted to start an organization for veterans. And so I would suggest, Sherry, because you're in District 57, I believe, you know, you might want to join TLC, the Leadership Club, and develop your ability to hone your leadership skills, skills of recruitment, so that you can make the ask and get people to join your cause or your endeavor or your project. You know, there's a certain language of leadership that we develop as we try to tap into something motivating to the person that we're recruiting. You know, what's in it for them and how can their goals be bettered by their joining up with you to create this brand new entity to serve our veterans. So we have so many clubs that are full of veterans, and you can use social media to reach out to them. You know, I remember giving a presentation at the Eagles Club out in Livermore. You know, coming from Berkeley at that time, I had some long hair and I was out of my element, but it was great, you know, and I came to appreciate how patriotic they were and how we shared such common goals about leadership and communication and the difference it can make. So I would say use social media to find out about other veterans out there who are Toastmasters. We know in Oakland 88, Bill Guile and, oh gosh, who am I forgetting? Yeah, I can see these guys. It's,
Michael Notaro is a Coast Guard.
Tell me again, Steve.
Michael Notaro is a Coast Guard.
That's right, Michael Notaro. Bill Mine, Commander Mine, a past district governor, two-time district governor, was in charge of the Toastmasters Club on Coast Guard Island and has a great military background. I can work with you on that. So, but spreading the word is, here's the interesting thing. The moment, Sherry, that you go public and you tell people on this call, I invite you to in the chat room, if you have leads for her or you're interested in supporting her in starting this organization, which we need to learn more about for veterans, you know, please introduce yourself to her and she can follow up with you. When you have dreams, they're just dreams until you write them down. However, the moment that you write them down and then go public with them, you articulate them, you put them out on a call like this, in a beautiful way, the universe really does rise up to conspire with you to achieve it. Now we all know about your desire to start an organization for veterans, and we can put you in touch with different leaders in different organizations who are doing that. Sherry, I want to tell you about a group I'm on the board of, and I'm sure that my Toastmaster skills made me attractive to them. There's a group called Their Angels, THEIR, and we meet once a month. We were meeting to write letters and cards to troops and support our military around the world as they keep the peace and protect Americans. And you know, they're a wonderful group, and now we're going to Zoom, and but we're always looking for speakers, and we're always partnering with interesting community partners that are doing similar sorts of things in our community. So you'll find that Toastmasters are welcome. How many of you, you could raise your hand in the participants window, how many of you know about the new partnership between Toastmasters and Rotary? Okay, not all of you know that. Ashley knows about it. It was in the magazine. There's now a partnership, and Rotarians are being encouraged to join Toastmasters to up their communication and leadership skills. And this is a beautiful thing. And we've been invited to speak to their communities. Steve Shagrin invited me to do a program for the E-Rotary Club of Silicon Valley. And I put a slide deck together and told them about us and our meetings and learned more about Rotary. And they're great partners for us. A lot of Rotarians are Toastmasters. All right, well, in a moment, I'm going to invite you to come back to this mind map here, and I can go to the whiteboard in a minute or two. But let's do this. I'm going to go back on my handout, a couple of slides, and I'll go full screen again once I find that slide I want to show you. And it should be in, oh, okay, I see now everything is in landscape. Oh boy, okay. I thought I had, that's why I was in thumbnail mode. Okay, not a problem. The idea is to just rotate these two. And we're going to rotate them 90 degrees counterclockwise, I believe. How about counterclockwise 90? This should do it. Ta-da, it did. And now this is the one I want. And I want to go full screen. So I got this one, and I want to close this window. And now, I thought I closed this pane too. All right, I can take you through this a different way. If you have not written your goal already on your handout, I would invite you now on page 3 to write your goal here on this handout, what your bucket list goal is. And then take a moment, and you know, visualization is very important. It all starts with your mind's eye. So close your eyes if you need to, but what will success look like? In Sherry's case, what will that nonprofit look like when it convenes in person or has a convention or a conference or a special event in the public? So take a minute and write down your vision of what that looks like once you've achieved it. And then who is on your team to help bring it to fruition? Are there already some people in your club, or do you have a mentor or a femtor already? They can be in Toastmasters or they can be beyond Toastmasters. It matters not, but list them because they're key people who you're going to share your dream with and entrust to your ambition too. You know, all aspirations can become achievements when we're willing to do the work and get other people on board with us. And many hands make light work. Everyone brings different skills. So now start to think about what resources can assist you. What do you know about already? You know, for many of us, there are clubs out there already that are a piece of the puzzle, that are already in the markets we wanted to tap or we want to have an impact in. Is there anybody on this MasterClass that's doing something with kids, that it was wanting to do something to empower young people? It would be great at this time if you'd like to put something in the chat window or unmute yourself and share out loud what that is and who you are and what that is.
They're doing a lot of gavel clubs for kids out in Livermore at the Indian Temple, and I've been an instructor out there for that.
Wow, that's great. That's Ashley Harkness, past Toastmasters district governor, who shared that, and that's great, Ashley. And you've done youth leaderships before, haven't you?
Oh yes, I have. Yes, and they're spontaneous, and they're challenging, but at the end of the day, you're glad you did it.
Absolutely. It's really inspiring to be able to work with the next generation and to give them the skills that we may not have developed until we were adults. And there's such a need right now. Kids really, all the kids are being homeschooled. They all want a different teacher next year. They've already announced it. It's tough for their parents. So if we can do a youth leadership or help them form gavel clubs, even if it's virtually at this time, what a boon for everybody. So just know that there are people in our district who've been doing this for years, using our curricula and bringing it to young people in scaled down versions. So, you know, it's great to connect with them. We've had people in our district who are past youth leadership chairs. In fact, do we have a chair this year for youth leaderships?
Yes, yes. Jean,
Cunningham?
no,
The different Jean. Great.
yes, it's a different.
So that's
I'll
a
look her up.
start.
Jin Liang.
Thank you.
Oh, thank
Jin
you.
Liang.
Yeah, so that's a natural partner for you, is to reach out to her and let her spread the word. And, you know, when we did youth leaderships, Cassandra Cockrell and I have done them, Lee Woods and I have done them. We one time got the Cows Memorial Stadium. One of our Toastmasters was the executive assistant athletic director of the University of California Golden Bears. And we got to do a youth conference at the Memorial Stadium. I got in trouble for it too. Turns out that we're not supposed to be doing things like that. We were competing with the conference slightly, but anyway, but this is the power of going public with your aspirations, and Toastmasters can support you. There's curriculum already that you can share with other people who you bring in to lead pieces of it, and it helps people pursue their individual goals of becoming a DTM or an ATM or an AL or CL and things of that sort. So anyway, good. And then mostly as you fill out this page too, what will you do when you get stuck? Who will you confer with? Who will you seek help from? Because invariably it gets hard, we can get stuck, and it can be demoralizing. But if you have other people on your teams, convene a call. Now in Toastmasters, some of you know this, we have something called the High Performance Leadership Module, HPL. And what it is it's a project that you create, you designate what it is, but it should be something meaty and big. It could be like starting a gavel club for, you know, a prison or a detention center or a group at a church. And then what you do is you identify key people to be on your advisory board, and you give an inspirational speech to talk about it, and you work with your team and they rate your leadership skills, and you go out and go about the steps and bringing it to fruition. It's really exciting. So for many of you, that can be the backbone, that can be the blueprint for you to achieve the different goals that you want. Some of you have done it around leading a conference or leading a Friday night event before a conference. Some of you have done it around, one of our past district governors did a high performance leadership program all year as her district governor year. And she convened past international directors and an international president from Ireland. And they were all in different time zones, but they were on her leadership team. They were her kitchen cabinet in the high performance leadership module. And it helped her lead our district to number 6 in the nation about 20 years ago. That was Cassandra Cockrell again. So again, she built a team and she learned so much, and she came to them with where she was successful and where she wasn't, and they brainstormed with her. So also, as we know, the goals that have dates attached to them, whether we make the date or not, usually the goals get done. So I want to hold your feet to the fire a little bit. By the end of this call, I'd love for you to fill out one of the forms here, take a digital photo of it if you'd like, and just email it to me, and I'll be on your accountability team. But let's create an end date for the goal that you've established and are going public with tonight. Okay, that would be great. So at the bottom of page 2, you can sign it, you can put the date, you can identify an accountability partner, or put my name if you'd like, although you'll keep this one. Now, I just want to point out that there's so many resources available to you. Whatever your goal is, there are people who've already achieved it who'll be happy to pay it forward by showing you what they did. It may or may not work for you, but the point is, successful people are very happy to share how you too can pursue your own goal, which may be similar or different. But successful people love to support others in succeeding. And honestly, if you have been mentored before, if you've been a mentee, you don't pay it back to the person who mentored you. You pay it forward to somebody now as you mentor them. I remember Ginger Kane did so much for me as my mentor. She saw potential in me I didn't see in myself. She overlooked my rough edges. She was a mentor to me and to so many people in our district. She was a past international director. She's since passed away, but she was a mentor to me, to Michael Notaro, to the late Tevis Thompson, to so many people in City Center Toastmasters and other people as well. She was amazing. And I said, how can I ever repay you? And she had this twinkle in her eye and she goes, don't you get it? You need to pay it forward. The point being, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask somebody to be your mentor. Now, mentorship comes with responsibilities. I'll be happy to send you an article on mentorship that gets into that. But the truth is, having a mentor in your corner makes all the difference. Ginger was as different from me as you could imagine. I had black hair. She had kind of blue hair. She had perfect posture. I slouched. We were different faiths, obviously different genders. But, you know, I just behaved better when I started being mentored by her because I realized I was now a reflection of her tutelage. And it helped me grow up a little bit at a time when I was very immature. Anyway, so on this next page, page 3, I want you to identify who are some key people that you'd like to invite to be on your cabinet or on your board, or even if it's your kitchen cabinet. Again, they can be people in Toastmasters or they can be outside of it, but who are people that you can be real with, you can be honest with, and you can share your shortcomings and your misgivings and your challenges. And write those names down. And then start to think about any advanced clubs or any specialty clubs that can help you. Maybe a club that does videotape members, or nowadays with Zoom, I think a lot of clubs are recording. So you can see your ums and ahs, and you can see if you have a nervous twitch or there's some pattern that you keep mimicking that you'll want to break yourself of. There's so many interesting clubs. And again, you don't have to limit yourself to District 57. I want to thank District 57 for hosting this. We have some people that are on from around the country and from other districts. But the truth is, you are part of the greater family of Toastmasters. And think about roles in the district and also in the club. Are there some roles that will give you experience speaking more regularly or giving reports or mentoring others? You know, every club has an educational vice president. They should be working on goals with you, or else your VP of membership. So when you go public with them in your club and tell them, you know, my goal really is to use my communication and leadership skills to start a nonprofit or to have my own community access TV show or whatever it may be, the truth is that they can put their heads together with you. They can tell you people in the district that have a TV show already, or they can tell you about our Toastmasters time or the different cable access channels that different districts have. Some of them use the same studio, I learned. Alan Zorster and Ashley Harkness have been very active with our Toastmasters Time TV program for years and years, as have others. And it's a resource, and they're always looking for guests and looking for behind the scenes people too. So I would say, you know, add that. But, you know, taking on a role in the district, you get to learn on the district's dime. You'll never lose a job or lose a client in the district. It's a great learning lab where we can, you know, do our best, make mistakes, but learn from them, but in a supportive environment. So my goodness, there's just, for those of you who are motivated, and if not now, when, why not go public with some big, hairy, bodacious goal that you aspire to, and let's see what sort of momentum we can create. Now, for some of you, there are specialty clubs. For others of you, it may be speaking outside of the club. To the extent that we have a speakers bureau in our district, you can have opportunities to speak outside of the club to service organizations. Sometimes they want you to speak about Toastmasters, but other times not. And you'll learn all about what it's like to speak outside of a club where they don't just automatically applaud obligatorily to you. So be thinking about what sort of social media help can advance your cause. Are you active in social media? There are Toastmasters LinkedIn groups, and there are Toastmasters Facebook groups, and there are all different, you pick the platform and you'll find Toastmasters around the world that are engaged, where you can ask questions, make offers, look for kindred spirits. And Janice Litvin asked a great question. What's the state of our District 57 Bureau right now? Is it active? Can anyone answer that, Beth?
If I had a great volunteer, I would sign them up for that role. They could do it as an HPL.
I think that's an amazing role. Bet, I'll tell you, I don't know if you ever met Jill Buck, but we had this amazing Toastmaster. She was in the Navy in San Diego when she first joined Toastmasters, and her club was all male. Jill Buck was in Division F by the time I met her, but she joined Toastmasters, the first woman in her club, all Navy, all male. And as the story goes, they gave her a table topic the first day just to test her out. And her table topic was, why do men have nipples? And all the men were staring at her to see how she'd handle it. But, Jill was tall and beautiful and poised. She didn't blink an eye and didn't blanch, didn't blush. She had a great answer. And from that moment on, she was one of the guys, and she was amazing. By the time she came to our district, she was already an awesome speaker. And she said, where's the Speakers Bureau? I want to join it. And we said, we used to have one, but it's moribund. We're just like Beth said, we're looking for a leader to take it on.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'd like to recommend Gary McKenzie. I know he's in District 33, but he spends a lot of time in 57 and 4 and 101. Maybe we can talk to him offline about it. But the thing is, we said, you know what? There is no club. She said, I'm going to rebuild it. And so Cassandra Cockrell, I think, was district governor then, or maybe Elgett, Lieutenant Governor of Education and Training. And, we said, we will build a club to support the Bureau. And so originally, that's how we formed Speakers Bureau Forum. It was designed just to teach people how to speak outside the club, how to speak outside Toastmasters, where they don't applaud automatically at the beginning and end, where it's not just what do you want to talk about today, but people look to you for expertise and for depth, and they look for professionalism. They want a return on investment. So we had a club that met monthly in Lafayette. It moved around. It eventually became Speakers Forum and specialized in evaluations. But all right, well, let's see if we can find you a Speakers Bureau chair or co-chairs, and it could serve their needs too.
You can run it as an HPL and get credit for your DTM.
Absolutely. Gosh, I don't know if Tony Woodall's still in our district, but now that he's not running our Speakers Academy and NSA, he'd be great for that too. I know he books a lot of speakers for Golden Gate Breakfast Club. All right, but I digress. So let's do this. At this time, we're going to do a mind map. So let me go ahead and do a new share, and we're going to pull up the whiteboard. And I'd like to ask somebody to share a goal that they have that we might do a mind map of. So let's see if I can find a shape, and we'll get going. Does somebody have I guess I could do it longhand. Ooh, it's going to be ugly. All right. Let's see. Is there something you'd like to email into our chat window, or does somebody have a goal they'd like to offer up to the group so I could just show you how this works on a mind map?
Greg, this is Zora. I opened up the chat to all, so please feel free to send your questions or goal in the chat to all.
Okay, super. All righty, and while you're doing that, let's see. I'll just grab one of these so I can remember this experience. All right, let's see, chat. Oops, where'd my chat go? Here we go. Let me raise the chat. And not seeing anything yet. All right, the floor is open. Who'd like to share something?
Someone has something to share. It's Gary who wants to speak about it. Why don't we put this goal in here? Starting a speakers bureau.
Okay, great. Let's do that. So couple of things. We've got to bring my mouse back. All right. So would it be rebuild or just reform the speakers bureau?
Yeah, let's reform it.
It sounds like reform, but I'll put a hyphen in there. How's that? Reform. There's nothing. All right. Speakers bureau. Okay. So certainly, among the things that one might do in a case like that would be certainly you could reach out to past bureau chairs, or speak to Cassandra Cockrell, speak to myself. Let's see, who else was the late Joanne Juhala, I know was one of our presidents of the club. Ashley, were you a president back when it was Speakers Bureau Forum?
Yeah, several times, as a matter of fact. And
Okay,
I did gigs for Jill.
Great. Well, you can't go wrong sending her out there. So great. So, one thing would be real simple, and it would just be speak with past chairs, but also in other, check other districts. I happen to know that District 101's got one. And let's see. So hey, Zora, I think you can do this too. Would you like to make some spokes or type some of these in? We could alternate typing. We can work on our teamwork.
Okay,
By the way,
sure.
Zora, I should acknowledge all her help getting me this far.
I'm not sure if I can do that, Craig.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Speak with current chairs in other districts. All right, there's one. Super. There are some advanced manuals and pathways that would be perfect for this. Let's see. Does our district have a DTM chair this year?
Well, if you want to say this year is up till the end of July, Steve today is currently.
Is he our DTM chair? Okay, so here's the thing. In every club, we have members who are pursuing certain goals, and there are requirements to get them. This would make an amazing high-performance leadership project that would help qualify people for things like DTM. So we want to float the notion, who's an HPL away from a DTM? Come co-chair our Reformed Speakers Bureau. Let's see. So I would reach out to District 39, the Sacramento people, District 4, San Francisco in the Mid-Peninsula or Peninsula area, District 101, the South Bay, and District 33, all around. We've got all these districts, but why confine yourself? You can put this out to past district governors. I think it's a LinkedIn group of past district governors, and find out which districts have a speakers bureau already. Some of them have material. You can even probably do a joint meeting with them. Some of them may have clubs. By the way, the idea is not to show off what I know. At any time, please let's unmute yourselves. What ideas would you have if this were your goal to reform the speakers bureau? Who would you reach out to? What would you do? I would speak to the advanced clubs about it. I would look for any NSA members who are Toastmasters. I would talk to Janice Litvin. She's an amazing leader. Now, I happen to know Janice Litvin is on the board currently still with the Northern California chapter of NSA, but she's incredibly resourceful and talented. And if she said no, she will hit her with a counter offer, but she probably knows other talented people. Or she could throw the resources of NSA Northern California behind. We have a lot of people who are both Toastmasters and who are NSA members or qualifying for NSA. Okay, other ideas? People?
I would say use the technology that we have now, right? We've got so much technology that we can leverage.
Great. So use our technology, meaning District 57's?
I mean, like Facebook and social media, to recruit speakers,
Yep.
advertise speakers.
Yep. So something I didn't give you in the handout, but I was going to give you soon. Let's see. Now, I'm going to save this for the moment, even though it's nothing to send home, write home about yet. But I just want to switch my screen for a moment, if I can. I'm going to stop sharing this one, and I want to share again and show you one other thing. Woohoo! All right, where is my, here we go. So I did a session about 10 years ago on this topic. And at that time, all right, I worked with a graphic recorder. And this graphic recorder was able to do an amazing real-time mind map. It started beforehand, but we ended up doing this amazing mind map. So let's see, can you see the mind map right now?
We see like a handout of some kind.
Okay, hold on, it's paused, I think. Let me just, okay, your screen is paused.
Was it Paula Hansen by any chance?
No, her name was Leslie Salmon-Zhu, JZU, and there is an association of these folks, and they're amazing. Okay, let me just share it one moment, please. Okay, here it is, and I want to go full screen, and I think I'm very close to.
We can see it. We can see it right now.
Yeah, right now it's sort of selected, but I would like to go full screen if I can. There we go, and hopefully nothing's obscuring it. Ta-da! So really, there are so many different resources available to us where we can find speakers ready to get to the next level. We can, reach out to, bless you, we can reach out to some of the advanced clubs and ask them, do you have people that aspire to be accredited speakers?
Craig?
Yes.
Now it's completely gone. We just see a black screen.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So it was better the other way. All right. Can you see it now?
Yes.
It's so perfect. Don't do anything.
All right. Well, you know what? It turns out that probably the better page to show you is the one before it. So this is fine print. It's going to be, wow. Actually, it didn't even paint the full page, did it? All right. That's a sign to me. Maybe I should close. Maybe I'll close PowerPoint. I was going to show you something, but okay, why isn't that displaying? There we go. Okay, here we go. So try to go a little bigger here. All right, I'm going to send you this. This lists some specialty clubs. It's a little out of date, but it lists specialty clubs in District 57, specialty clubs in District 4. I know some of you are in Michigan and elsewhere around the country, but check your district's website, see what kind of advanced clubs or specialty clubs they have. You know, we have clubs that meet in different languages. We have JETS, the Japanese English Toastmasters in District 4. There are clubs in District 57 that are both English and Tamil, I believe, and a couple other Indian dialects. There used to be Las Juntas in our district that was English and Spanish, and there's just some wonderful clubs that focus on advanced speaking, longer presentations, things of that sort. There are just so many interesting leaders. Oh my gosh, it's 8 o'clock already. I had no idea. All right, well, let's do this. Are there, it is 8 o'clock now. I'm happy to go a little longer, but out of respect for your time, we will be emailing you an evaluation to get your feedback. Anyone who hasn't gone public, but that would like to email me and share with me what it is that you are committed to pursuing, I will work with you on a mind map, and we can get you into action and throw some resources your way. Let's do this. I want to go back just for a moment to my handout and just explain what the final things are. Whew. Okay, so let me do this. No. All right. So the chat is open, and I believe you're unmuted. So as I pull up the original handout for the final remarks, I want to make sure if there's any questions that folks have, I can answer them briefly, or I'll follow up offline. Okay, thank you for that. And all right. So is everybody unmuted, or anyone who'd like to speak?
A participant can unmute themselves.
Hey, unmuted.
Okay,
Excellent.
super.
All right, excellent job. Thanks for the presentation this evening.
My pleasure. Have you gone public yet with your goal?
Can you see me? You're writing a book.
Great. I'm sorry, your first name?
V-A-N.
Oh, Van.
The only one that you know.
There it is, Van. All right. Great, Van. So a couple of things. Is it a nonfiction book?
It is.
Okay. There's a woman named Stephanie Chandler, and Stephanie has formed something called the Nonfiction Authors Association. I think that's the name. And they have chapters. Where are you at, Van?
In Berkeley.
Oh, you're in Berkeley. Okay. So a couple of resources for you. There's a group in Berkeley called, a chapter called Shut Up and Write. And they get together, but they don't talk. They get together and they write. So that's a support group outside of Toastmasters. A lot of people, Van, they use Toastmasters they write a draft, they give it as a speech, they get feedback, they refine it, and then they put it into print. So, you know, many times I've written books that started with speeches, then Q&A came, and then I elongated my speech and I added more to it. And before I knew it, I had a chapter, and then I had a book.
Okay.
Of course, for me, a lot of things in the middle were articles for Toastmaster magazine, but I kept the copyright. So the idea is that there may not be a specialty group that I know of just for literary types, just for writers, but there might be. So I would use social media and ask, does anyone know about Toastmasters clubs just for writers?
And what about Stephanie Chandler? You mentioned her. What's her situation there? Who is she?
Yeah, she's based out of the Sacramento area, and it's the nonfiction. Let's see, I'm pulling up writers.
Nonfiction Authors Association.
That's it.
And
Thank
they
Thank
have a regular telecall on Wednesdays.
Yep.
And her website's awesome, and Stephanie's amazing.
Yep.
Love her.
I actually helped them launch the Walnut Creek chapter, and I taught people how to generate books from articles, magazine articles, from snippet to story, and then from a kernel of an idea to an article, to a chapter, to a book, well, to an article, blog post, chapter, book. Anyway.
Now, Craig, one more thing.
Oh, sure.
You say you sent out a list of specialty clubs. And also your list of the worksheets. I never received those.
Okay. Let's see. And your name is?
I just sent an email to you, so look for your email. I just sent it out.
Okay. Let's see. It's not Regina Davis. That's probably not you. No. Okay.
I just sent it out to you about 2 minutes ago.
All right. It hasn't shown up yet, but great. So Zora and I will make sure we're going to save this file.
Okay. Now, here's an idea. Send it to everybody.
No, of course. No. Thank you. We'll do that. Definitely. Yeah. And then there's somebody, Dahlia Masachi, who's spoken at our conferences before. And while she's not a Toastmaster right now, she was doing something called Writing to Make a Difference. And she's got a podcast. So let me write down her name. I meant to invite her to this, actually. Whoops. I should have used social media. Yeah. And so it makes such a difference to have people in your corner. I think that's really the point I'm trying to make. And as I try, okay, I'm just gonna give it a shot here and rotate some of these pages. And this one we want to rotate counterclockwise 90, yeah. And it worked there, so let's see if I can do the next 3 that way. All right, so to me, this is the beginning of a conversation. you know, I really wanted to entertain as many ideas as possible, knowing that not everything will apply to everybody. But I was hoping you see that it's a wonderful puzzle. You need to find some advanced clubs. You need to find maybe a key person who can mentor you. And mentoring is very big in most clubs. And so, you know, all of these things. But ask your district what they need and see if you can find an opportunity that would really better your needs as well. Now, as I share my screen one last time, there is a worksheet on page 7. Where is that's it. I think I found it. There it is. Okay. And of course, now I don't need these sidebars. So I'm going to show you page 7. Here we go. This is a sheet that in the old days, there were 2 to a page. It was 2 up. And I used to carry around a little yellow bucket, which I actually have here. And I'd speak about the importance of this topic, and then they would write it down and tear off one side and keep it and put their side in the bucket, and I would hold them accountable. So this is a bucket list accountability record where you write your name and your date and the goal and a due date and whether you want me to call or email you. And then at this point, it's part of this handout, but take a digital photo of it if you'd like, and you can just email it to me at either craig@expressionsofexcellence.com or craig@consummatetoastmaster.com. Also, if you're interested, I've written a ton of cover stories for the magazine over the years before many of you joined Toastmasters, but I'm proud of them, and there's some great material here. You know, a lot of us didn't even realize that Toastmasters was about leadership as well as communication skills when we joined. And some of the articles I'm most proud of really do have to do with leadership. So got to interview John Wooden, The Wooden Way. I interviewed Sully Sullenberger from our district. There's a cover story on crisis leadership. We finally got to publish my article on TED Talks. So all of these are available for free through my website still, if you follow this link. And if any of you are interested in story coaching, which we didn't talk about tonight, you can look at your leisure at the handouts, the last 2 slides. And there's a special, you'll see a quote from Janice and some other people that I've coached that you may know. And if anyone is interested in my special offer, I'll throw in hard copies of these 3 books in my Good, Better, Best series. With that, I think I'm supposed to let Zora have the last word, but would you all lead me in applause for Zora for all her work behind the scenes in helping put this together, and unmute yourselves. Yay.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to move us to close and take over the screen sharing.
Great.
Where is my screen? Let me see. Okay. Lost my file. Okay, I found it.
Oh, good.
Okay. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, and especially to Craig for presenting. I have a couple of more logistics to share before we close. There will be a survey. I'm going ahead and put it on the chat box. Let me see. Please take a few minutes to respond to the survey. Okay, I found it. Again, I lost my chat box now.
It's okay, I lost mine too.
Sometimes I wonder if multiple screens is better or worse.
Okay, I found it. I found it. Here's the link. I just sent it to you. Oh, it was privately. Okay. Here it is. Please take a moment to answer the survey. It's just 5 short questions. It's really helping us to improve the program. This masterclass recorded, and you will find it in the district website under Member Resource tab. And just a heads up, we will have 3 more masterclasses in June. And these 3 coming webinars were workshops were supposed to be presented at the district conference as well. We have on Saturday, June 13, masterclass with Eleanor Lumsden. about the magic of fear, embracing change to achieve success. And on Monday, June 15, we have another masterclass with Evelyn Hess and Steve Bolhofer. Please go to the masterclass web page on the district website and get information and registration.
Zora?
Yes.
You know, I happen to know Eleanor Lumsden. I referred her to my home club and she joined, and her session is going to be so perfect for all of you. I really hope you can be on it live, because now that you've started percolating about bucket list items, she'll show you how to really lock it in and bring it to fruition. We couldn't have scripted it better to have her following me. She's remarkable.
Zora, in the chat box, where's the send button?
The bottom.
I'm looking for it. Where's the chat box? Where's the send button? What do you do?
Oh, this is a link. If you just click on the link,
okay,
you will go to the form.
Wait, now I'm trying to put something in the chat box.
No, you don't. Is it? Oh, okay.
You hit the enter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Zora?
Try that. Enter. All right.
Why don't we help Van after we officially close?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, everyone, I want to thank everyone again for joining us tonight, and we will see you on Saturday, June 13th for the next masterclass. Good night and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Bye, folks. Good job.